Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bells and Balance. I'm your host, Dani Claire. As you can tell, I'm a little bit under the weather this evening. My voice has kind of been coming and going the past couple of days. I just have an awful cold and it just is hanging on. So bear with me. I'll probably make this a little bit of a shorter broadcast and hopefully my voice will hold out. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is making time for yourself, making time to take care of yourself and do the things that are important to you, not to anybody else, just to you. And you will notice that that's really a central theme of this entire podcast. When I interview women, I try to find women who are doing the whole balance thing really well. And I always ask them how they find time to do the things that are important to them. So tonight, I just wanted to share some of my own tips and things I've seen other people do, women who are successful in doing this. And, this could be anything that's important to you. So whether you want to go back to school or are already taking classes, whether you have your own business or want to start your own business, working in a fitness routine into your life, working in healthier eating, a new hobby, whatever that may be. Maybe it's even just reading a book. Maybe you just feel like you never have time to read, which I often do feel as well. These are just some tips and some tricks that you can use to try to carve out some time for yourself every day when other people aren't like trying to get your attention or have you do things for them. Because let's be honest, like we do so many things for other people, friends, family, bosses, coworkers, clients, all of that stuff, that sometimes we forget that we need to take care of ourselves. And that's when the stress can really start to sink in. So that's why I wanted to share this with you guys. You're going to have to bear with me. I have to take water breaks every once in a while, and I'll try not to cough too loudly. Okay, so the first thing that I just wanted to say is that you will hear a lot of successful people say that the first thing to go is to cut out things that aren't important, mainly television and Facebook. I agree with that to a point. Excuse me. However, a lot of people use Facebook for business, so obviously you need to use that. Some of us use it to connect with people who are important to us, and I think that that's important also. But mindlessly just kind of scrolling through your Facebook feed is not useful, and it's not a good way to use your time. You could be taking that time and reading that book that you've always wanted to read, or starting that business that you always wanted to start. So just be mindful of that. If you find yourself on Facebook and just sort of like mindlessly looking through things, that may not be the best use of your time. With television, it's kind of the same thing. I'm so sorry. I know this broadcast is going to be a hot mess, but I wanted to do it because the show must go on. So I was saying that with television, there may be shows that you really enjoy watching, and I don't think that you should cut those out. I think that, there are some shows that are really, really good, storylines and connecting with emotions and things like that. It can be very similar to reading a really good book. And so I think that that is important. What is not important is channel surfing or just mindlessly putting on Lifetime movies or whatever. Not that those are bad, but putting something on just to have in the background and watching it is not really a great use of time either. So just be mindful of those two things with Facebook and television. Is this something that is really important to you that you're really enjoying, or is it just like a time suck? One thing that I do that has really helped me to carve out time for myself is I get up really early in the morning. Not every day, but most days I do. And, I do have health issues, so sometimes I'm really tired and it's not possible, but my family likes to sleep in. So I always make sure that I get up at least an hour before they do so that I can have that extra time in the morning to read, to work on my business, to work on this podcast. I have a couple of other things on the side that I'm doing, and to do my workout. My workout's really important to me, and that's usually the very first thing that I do in the morning. In fact, on the days that I work, because I do also work full time, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning when I really don't need to get up until after 8. And I get up at 6 and I have my breakfast. And right after I eat, I usually take some time before I go and do my workout, just so I'm not eating on a completely full stomach. And I will do some reading or, catching up on things that I need to do. And then I do my workout, and then I pack my food for the day, and then I get ready for work, and then I'm off. So that's one way that I have definitely found some time. I never used to be a morning person, but I've found that time so valuable that I've trained myself to do that. If you're not a morning person, maybe try staying up a little bit later at night to accomplish some things, and just sort of depending on your own situation and your own family, that may or may not work for you, but it's worth trying. I highly recommend early morning if you can do it. just give it a try for a week and see if it works. Even if you get up 30 minutes earlier than everybody else or 30 minutes earlier than you need to, and make use of that time. The other thing that you can do is if you work like I do, if you're working a full-time job and you have a commute, use that time that you're commuting to maybe listen to a podcast like this one, or listen to an audiobook, or, even if you just want to like have some quiet reflection and think about what your intentions are for the day, what your goals are, what you're grateful for. If you enjoy listening to music, listen to your favorite songs, listen to your favorite albums, or whatever you enjoy listening to, just so that you get in the right frame of mind. But make sure you're using that time wisely. Don't like mindlessly channel surf, or if you enjoy listening to the news, that might be something that you can do as well. But make sure that you're using that time for something that makes you feel good. It's a good way to start the day, and then it's a good way to end the day too when you leave and head home from work. If you get breaks at work, use those wisely. If you get a lunch break, eat your lunch and then go take a walk around the building. If you don't work like in a place where you can really walk around a neighborhood or anything, walk up and down the stairs. There are lots of different things that you can do. I typically bring my lunch every day because I like to pack healthy things and I have total control over what I'm eating. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are going out to lunch, make sure that you order something healthy, because if you don't, a lot of times people kind of feel guilty, especially if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to stick to a healthy plan, or if you're just concerned about your health. Sorry, here we go again. I'm trying not to cough. I'm trying to drink more water, so I'm not like hurting everybody's ears. But also make sure that you're choosing your lunch partners wisely. If you're going to be going to lunch with a bunch of people from work who are just going to be gossiping or, talking negatively about work things, that might not be the best choice. Choose people who you enjoy spending time with, who make you feel good. That's going to be a better use of your time. Food prep. You'll hear me talk about food prep a lot, and it has sort of become like a buzzword. You'll see it on Facebook. Sorry, worst podcast ever. I know. I'm almost done because my voice is about to give out. The food prep is not just a buzzword, you guys. It's something that really can make a difference. It's basically just making your food ahead of time. So, maybe chopping veggies and making up a couple of like casseroles or chili or spaghetti sauce or whatever that may be, so you have it ready for the rest of the week. You don't even have to do it for a full week, because I know some people get grossed out. Like if they make food on Sunday, by the time you get to like Thursday and Friday, they're like, oh, that's sort of gross. You could do just a few days ahead, and then maybe on Wednesday you could make the rest of the meals for the week. Okay, almost done. You can make things like egg muffins. I just posted a great carrot cake recipe on our blog, which is just bellsandbalance.com. And that has a good balance of protein, carbs, and fat. And that's something that you can make as well. So check that out on our website. The last two things I wanted to mention, and I know I'm speeding up a little bit, my voice is almost gone. You want to communicate this with your family. Communicate why you need time to yourself, why it's important to you, because that's going to help them to support you. And then make sure that you have a plan for that time. So if you have that hour in the morning, say you get up early and you have that extra hour in the morning, make sure you know what you're going to do with it, because it's a waste if you don't have a plan. So just make sure that you map that out. All right, guys, I'm going to get going because I sound like a hot mess and I keep coughing in your faces, and I'm sorry about that. But on Thursday, we have Michelle Morricone, who is one of my dear friends. She's extremely inspiring. She has her own business, 2 kids. Her husband travels a lot, and so I think you're really going to enjoy listening to her. So we will see you then. Bye.